poppin' YouTube? Extra Thick Games back at you again tonight with yet another Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS episode recap and review, as well as me getting off topic and rambling about stuff. Speaking about off topic and rambling about stuff, on one of the last videos that I posted, I talked about going to a locals and playing with Altergeists. Well, I opted not to actually play that deck. Instead, I used one of the other decks that fell into my hand, basically, when, yeah, what week was that? But, I don't know, there were several people, just trying to get out of the game, and I was able to score a good few decks. But, I ended up using Danger Burning Abyss, and it worked really well for me. I, finally started ending in the top half, not top cut, but top half of the results, and I had not played the deck very much before, so I'm okay with that. Not to mention the deck wasn't quite complete, but I was still able to beat a deck like Thunder Dragons 2-0, so I mean, I'm okay with those kind of results. I'm sure that with enough practice with that deck, I'll end up being even better with it. And that deck just kind of clicked with me because the whole concept is basically based on Dante's, Divine Comedy, the Inferno and whatnot. And little known fact, I myself am a published author with Amazon, with books loosely based on that series. We've got All Ye Who Enter Here, kind of a horror mystery. Then its sequel, All Ye Who Enter Here, A Chorus of Angels, more of a fantasy adventure sort of book. And then, since these are both more like novellas than anything, both pretty short, there is a special edition that I also released, consisting of both of the books put into one. It's got the both of them here. So I don't know why I haven't been playing that deck from the start, but yeah, these are available on Amazon. If I got anybody who's interested in that sort of deal, I can link these in the description below. Shameless plug. I ain't even mad about it, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and get into the Yu-Gi-Oh! VRAINS review right now. Episode 78, The Rebellious Bounty Hunter. So the episode begins with a bit of a recap of Soltec having captured and dissected and likely killed the Earth Ignis. And then it has Blood Shepherd watching this footage, as well as footage of Onizuka's duel with Earth, and he's celebrating to himself that there's one less Ignis out there, but at the same time he's refuting Onizuka's actions, seeing as how much he disagrees with the concept of the AI and the Ignis and whatnot. He's just baffled that anybody would want to make themselves one with such a being. But then a thought occurs to him. What does Soltec even want with the data from an Ignis? So he then logs into Link VRAINS and breaks into Soltec's database, their databank, right? And he absorbs the information that he was looking for and makes a startling discovery that is unknown to the audience at this point. He then logs out and leaves the building he was in, though not unnoticed by the human form of Revolver and Spectre. Scene then cuts to Soltec with Akira Zaizen reading a note from his sister Aoi, the new Blue Maiden, which basically reads how she needs some time to herself, away from them, alone with her thoughts, having witnessed what Soltec did to the Earth Ignis, so she needs time alone with her thoughts to kind of figure out what's right, what's wrong, what an Ignis is, and where to go from here. But Zaizen's time is interrupted by the Blood Shepherd breaking into his room and demanding answers. He throws this flash drive at Zaizen. Of course, it's going to be what he took from the data bank, and demands their true intent. Are they really here to kill the Ignises? Zyzen plugs in the flash drive and looks at the data that was found, and according to it, they do plan on killing the 6 elemental Ignises, but they plan on using that dissected data to create a more advanced version of them, a more, I guess, highly functional operating one that, of course, it has the free will sort of deal, but basically just making new, more powerful Ignises. And if this is the case, this enrages the Blood Shepherd, because it would mean that Thicc hired him under false pretenses, and asks what Zyzen thinks about it and what he plans on doing about it. Zyzen, however, disappoints him with the answer, saying that he shouldn't expect much out of him because he's a low-ranking individual in the company. He's their lapdog, he says, and he's got to go with the company's direction. This infuriates the Blood Shepherd, who storms out of the office, leaving, saying that he'll think about what he's going to do next. Elsewhere in Link VRAINS, the whole Playmaker squad is still flying about towards their goal, with the Ghost Girl now having caught up with them and joined the squad. But Aqua is the first to say anything, and she asks the Blue Maiden if she's got any regrets, right? Especially considering how she was kind of forced into this, and she'll likely be fighting on the opposite side of her brother. Now, the Blue Maiden actually responds that she's fine with it. She's fine with it. Her brother will understand she's doing what she has to do and fighting for what she believes in, and that she had to walk her own path eventually, and that just so happened to be right now. This girl is easily the best character in this whole series. I know I'm a Revolver fanboy, but as far as development is concerned, Aoi Zyzen, Sky Zyzen if you're going to watch the dub, or Blue Angel, Blue Girl, Blue Maiden, best character hands down. My personal opinion, also thickest booty, even though in her new costume you don't exactly get to see it anymore. Why, friends? Why must you take this from us? They arrive at what appears to be where Lightning had kept Aqua captive and where Earth had subsequently freed her. And Playmaker has Eye sort of scan the place, right? To see if there's any clues or any trails to Lightning's past log or anything like that. But there don't appear to be any after Eye calculates the place, and Playmaker's not too surprised by this, as Lightning wouldn't be the type to carelessly leave clues lying about, but this does make it kind of a waste of a first stop for our heroes. Elsewhere again, Revolver and Spectre are just kind of broing out on this yacht. All they're missing is a little bit of whiskey. So they're broing out on this yacht, and they're discussing, you know, their current position as far as where they stand against in this war with the Ignises, the Light Ignis and whatnot, and they conclude that they're at a bit of a disadvantage, as the Light Ignis will strike when he is good and ready, and it'll be a surprise attack. They conclude that they need a few more skilled programmers, and the Blood Shepherd ends up being their perfect first candidate for this. Speaking of the Blood Shepherd, he decides to log into Link VRAINS with the intent to go after the Water Ignis again and wipe her out. And he finds himself first in this wasteland sort of area, where he immediately notices Revolver is there with him, a Knight of Hanoi. And Revolver immediately begins to try to play on the Blood Shepherd's pathos by talking about the hole that he must have in his heart after the loss of his father and whatnot. And Blood Shepherd is immediately shocked that Revolver knows his identity. But it turns out Revolver basically knows everything about his backstory, right down to his desire for revenge on the AIs and Ignises for for what happened to his mother. He gets right to the point, though, saying how he wants him on Hanoi's side. And he's the first one to actually tell the Blood Shepherd. I had no idea that he didn't know this, but he's the first one to tell Blood Shepherd that the Ignises have declared war on humanity. The Blood Shepherd, however, is hesitant to accept Revolver's invitational request and believes him to be stronger on his own, and attempts to actually wipe out and destroy Revolver with his blaster on a 3 count. However, Revolver is too quick for him and counters behind him on just a count of 2, leaving the Blood Shepherd very curious and impressed with Hanoi's power, leaving there to be only one sort of solution to their current little standoff, with a duel. Revolver takes the first move, and all he does is set one face-down card because he is a badass and that is all he needs to do. But the Blood Shepherd is upset by this, thinking that he's underestimating him, thinking that he's mocking him, and starts to make his move with a pretty decent board of 2 Link monsters, the Link 2 Battle Drone Warrant, as well as the Link 3 Battle Drone General. And he starts making attacks on Revolver. He attacks directly with Warrant and manages to get some damage in, and then uses General's effect to deal even more burn damage. But as he's about to go for game with a direct attack with General, Revolver's able to save himself by using the pseudo hand trap kind of effect of Checksum Dragon, which special summons itself out and gives him some life points back, so he is not defeated by the Blood Shepherd at this point. So the Blood Shepherd decides to try to push for game again in another way at the end of his turn by activating this spell card. What is it? Blitz Drone, I think it was called. And he tries to use it to deal more burn damage to Revolver, but Revolver saves himself with yet another of the most powerful trap cards in this game. We're seeing an awful lot of those, but he plays Imperial Order, which shuts down all spell cards. It shuts them all down. And at this point, he starts kind of preaching at the Blood Shepherd again, saying how in his current state he'd be no match for the Ignises and their powerful Link spells, something that Blood Shepherd, again, was unaware of, despite, kind of being there when Playmaker was having his 3rd round against Bowman, and when Soulburner was just about to play against a Lightning. I don't know, apparently he was oblivious to all of this, but he informs him of that, and again tries to coerce the Blood Shepherd over to its side, but Blood Shepherd refuses, so Revolver makes his next move. Revolver's able to make his first kind of big play of his second turn by going into one of my favorite actual Link monsters in this game, Topologic Trisbania. We've only seen this card once in the series back in Season 1 when he used it against Ghost Girl, so I'm thrilled to see this card back again. But, unfortunately for me, Blood Shepherd is able to use a trap card to negate its effects before he's able to fully utilize them. But, unfortunately for the Blood Shepherd, Revolver had a backup plan for this, and uses the effect of another one of his monsters to destroy Trisbania, and then proceed to go in for a Synchro Summon of Barload Savage Dragon. And Blood Shepherd is just absolutely amazed. He's appalled that Revolver had 2 ace monsters. Oh, buddy. You have no idea. So Revolver is able to use the destroyed Trisbania to his advantage with Barload Savage Dragon's effect to equip it to increase its power significantly. And he proceeds to start attacking, and then uses another monster's effect to get rid of the equipped Trisbania to attack again, and he just utterly demolishes the Blood Shepherd. He wrecks him outright. Revolver wins this duel. Let me just point out that he beat the Blood Shepherd in a grand total of 2 turns in 1 episode, and in half the episode at that, right? This duel didn't start until the halfway point of the episode had already passed.
Now when the lights down low, we'll dance the party flow. We'll let the DJ go, and then the club will blow.
I guess we killed this one. With the duel ending in the Blood Shepherd's defeat, he is impressed by the power of Hanoi, and but he still refuses to join them, although admitting that he will pay Revolver back for not only being able to show him up in a duel, but by giving him all the information that he did, despite being one who absolutely hates to be indebted to people. And then he logs out and leaves, ending the episode. So that wraps up this week's episode review, and I mean we're pretty on track with good episodes again. I'm happy with this one, but I mean, of course I am. Revolver and Blood Shepherd are 2 of my favorite characters, probably Revolver being my absolute favorite character, despite Blue Girl having the best development and probably being the overall best character. Revolver's still my favorite, and then Blood Shepherd being probably the 3rd one, right after Blue Girl, Blue Angel, Blue Maiden, however you want to call her. So this was just a bunch of fan service for me, and we got to see a few more rocket support kind of cards, which also excites me. Maybe we'll be getting those in Savage Strike, which should be coming to the TCG pretty soon. And I'd really like it if Rocket Dragons were a good, viable deck, because I tried to make that deck good and work, but no, not quite. Even with 2 Scapegoats, that deck still just couldn't cut it. But, I mean, seeing all this fan service for me, 2 of my favorite characters dueling it out, and not in a long, drawn-out sort of divulging from the plot sort of way, like when Blood Shepherd dueled Soulburner. It just kind of felt like a waste of time. But no, this one, we're actually kind of getting a recruitment sort of deal going on, and there's a character indebtment going on. So this is going to add to the plot in some way or another, I'm sure, and even if it doesn't, my subjective opinion, the duel was rad. We got to see Revolver being a boss and winning, because, he really does beat anybody that's not Playmaker, basically, so. Look, I don't care, I'm a Revolver fanboy. This episode was great. That wraps it up. Probably going to be coming out with another video relatively soon, because there's a whole lot as far as YouTube's concerned, as far as the Yu-Gi-Oh! TCG is concerned, that I really want to talk to you about. So, I mean, if that episode doesn't, if that video doesn't come out within a few hours, y'all know what to do until then, and that is to stay thick. And also to subscribe, I'd really appreciate a few more subscribers going on here. Oh, I'd really love to be able to do this full time and as a job. So, stay thick, subscribe. That's pretty simple, right? Y'all can do that. Appreciate you.